Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm DJ Sixsmith. Welcome to Sit Down. Kathleen Wu is here with us from the USTA Foundation. Rally for the Future. Tennis is coming back. It's a beautiful time. Kathleen, nice to meet you. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much. I'm so excited about our future. So let's get into it.
Why don't we talk about it? Because tennis was a really popular sport during the pandemic. But listen, we want to get outside. We want to see people. We want to be active. So, what's going on with this campaign? And it's going to be all over the country. So, why don't you let folks know what's going on here?
Absolutely. So first of all, a shout out to all those people who picked up a racket. It's incredible to get a 22% increase in any sport, especially where adult and children's sports has been over the past decade. So we're delighted to see that. And from the foundation standpoint, even more delighted that where we see a lot of growth is in these underserved communities that the USTA Foundation already had a footprint in some of these communities. So we're excited about the future because we're hopefully coming off of the pandemic, hopefully coming off of record number of new tennis players, and hopefully able to reach into these communities. It's been the children who have suffered the most during the pandemic as far as academic and physical fitness loss. And so the foundation, which I'm happy to talk about, we've started this Rally for the Future, which is our single largest campaign. It's very ambitious, but you don't put it out there, you don't get it, right? So it's 20 million over the next 3 years. And we are working off of the success we had for our Rally to Rebuild, which was last year's campaign as a direct result of the COVID impact, wherein we set a record of 6.5 million, 1.5 million more than our goal, to make sure that something we have called the National Junior and Tennis Learning Chapters, that is where we go to the communities, we bring tennis and we bring after school academic programming. So we're hoping that we can continue to support the good work that they're doing throughout the country.
Tennis is such a great sport, and there's so many important life lessons from it. And you think about the history of it too, and Arthur Ashe going into those communities and what that meant to him to bring tennis to underserved communities. What does it mean to you and the rest of the foundation to continue that legacy, and especially to do it in a time when, like you said, kids have really struggled the past year plus?
Oh, absolutely. It's truly an honor and a privilege. I've been involved in the USTA in different levels of involvement, but when I found the foundation, it's my sweet spot. So it is doing and it is carrying out Arthur Ashe's mission in the most amazing way. In a nutshell, we raise money and it goes directly into grassroots tennis, providing tennis and after school programming. And we look at the pandemic. Interestingly, as you tie the post-pandemic to where we are now, this increase, the children have suffered tremendous academic losses in these underserved communities or under-resourced communities because of the lack of internet and everything else we've read about. So there's a lot of catch up to do. And I think it's going to take every fiber of local government, of state government, of teachers, student unions, all of it. But I do think there's a place for the USTA foundations and organizations like ours where we can provide that supplemental academic and physical fitness. So I'm hopeful for the future. We need to have all these people continue to play and continue to learn the lessons that tennis teaches you. Arthur Ashe went into it to teach them life skills, to teach them resilience and commitment and dedication and time management. It was about building the full person, not just the tennis component. And so that's what I think is so important about our mission. We bring education and tennis together and really hope that we're making an impact, not only on those children and their families, but on the communities as a whole.
One of the things I love about the tennis community is that you can have players who played decades ago, but still really find it important to invest in the future and get involved. And, I see some of the names that you have working here, whether it's a Chris Evert or, the McEnroe brothers involved. How important is that to have the connectivity between the players of today and the players of yesteryear as well?
When you're saying that, it reminds me of what Billie Jean King once said. And she said, I might ruin her quote, but it was something like, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So, to have all these professional players come back and be the role models for every color of the spectrum, every persuasion means everything. So, yes, I'm now, president of the foundation, but I'm hoping that it's all these role models, whether it started with the original nine, the tennis women who were in the original nine who were addressing equal pay, all the way to a Naomi Osaka. It's all about, the foundation of what's been raised, whether it was from Arthur Ashe and all the way through the current players. So yes, having people like the Bryan brothers and Chrissy Everidge and James Blake and all of them involved It's a tremendous honor, but it's a tribute to them and their character individually and how they see what the game has given to them, I hope, and how they clearly are exhibiting the willingness to give it back to the communities, and especially the communities that don't have it so easy.
Kathleen, you mentioned this is a really ambitious project. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges in trying to pull this off, in your opinion?
Well, it's the money, right? You got to follow the money. But like I said, if you don't put it out there, you're not going to get it. So 20 million is a big hurdle, but we see the impact that those dollars have had. And since it all goes back into grassroots tennis and education, how can we not? I sort of feel like even if it is this big, hairy goal out there, we have to, we got to try and hit it. I was surprised and so impressed that our board stepped up and beat our last year's goal. And that helped us maintain all of those NJTL chapters stayed open with their good work and us supplementing it from the foundation. So if we could do that in 1 year, I'm ever hopeful we can do it in 3. And I hope we even exceed it. I'm not an underachiever, so I'm going to give it everything I can and pull every lever I can to make it happen.
You also mentioned previously how you've been involved with the USTA Foundation in different roles, and now you get to be the president. So what's most important to you, and what have been some of the surprises so far with the job that you didn't expect?
Well, I'm just a couple months into it, but I'm surprised at the generosity and the interest. I thought it'd be a little bit harder of a story to tell. You're getting your elevator speech ready to pitch to try and get some donations or to get some sort of contribution. And, I'm so impressed by the generosity, the philanthropic air that still exists even after the pandemic and even during the pandemic. So that's been delightful and wonderful. And maybe that'll make my job a little bit easier. I don't know. We'll know in 3 years. I think that that's been a wonderful surprise. Now that the COVID restrictions are lifting, we'll actually get out there and we'll be able to, meet the donors and move into different circles to try and spread, all the benefits of tennis and education that we have through our 250 chapters. I mean, that's 160,000 children we're reaching. I'd love to reach 250,000. I'd love to reach 350,000. So like I said, I'm an overachiever. So I'm sure we're going to have some roadblocks as we go along the way, but we'll get over them.
Yeah, and listen, it's not about just the here and now, it's about the future, right? You could be impacting the next generation of American tennis players, both men and women. So what does that mean to you? Because so many people have come along and been impacted previously. How do you feel about the fact that you could be the one to help spearhead, great players for years to come?
Well, I don't know if somebody looking at tennis players would look at me first. They'd probably look at a whole list of other people, but I hope they do. To be Asian American and to be a woman in this role in the middle of the United States means everything. So we've come a long way. Sometimes, now the country is in a pivot point, I feel, with respect to social justice issues and corporate responsibility and all that comes bundled with that. I love the fact that we're now saying diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, the foundation's 100% in. It's who our customers are. It is those communities. It is where the growth of tennis is going to come from. So for me to have a leadership role in that and look the part and have lived that part, it's personally tremendously rewarding. And I hope in a small way that too can change the dial just by my journey and the way that I look and where I've come from.
That's really beautifully said, and really excited about the future. Kathleen, really nice to meet you. Congrats on everything with the new job, and best of luck with the initiative, right?
Thank you so much.